What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Executive's View. I'm your host, Aaron Sirius Simmons, and this is the View from on top, man. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with the execs. I do appreciate that. You guys know how I get down. If you see the show, share the show. We're all over the place, man. We on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Spotify, TikTok. We're doing big things in the places. Definitely want to take everybody along for the journey. We rolling with the three-man weave today. We got some guys that are out and about and handling some things, so it's going to probably be the three of us here today. But I don't do this by myself. I got the homie Villain in the building. What's going on, my guy? How we doing, sir?
Villain, what's going on? Good to see everybody. What up, Unc? What up? Hey, what up, Mr. Simmons in the building?
What up, big dog? What up, big dog?
You still in mourning?
I'm going to be in mourning until we find a coach.
Oh, grow up.
And if I don't like it, I'm going to be in mourning some more. Look, yo. This week I'm not in my, going over the rough side of the mountain get up. So leave me alone. I'm starting the healing process. You know what I'm saying? Not all of us have had a coaching press conference where you want to run through a wall already. That hardball joint was fire. I ain't gonna hold you. We'll talk about that in a minute. Chase in the middle. What's going on, my guy? How we doing, sir?
Hey, what's up, man? Chargers got a new offensive coordinator.
Mike McDaniels. I just saw that.
You like that? You like that, Unc?
I do for the Chargers. Yeah, man. Which tells you that Cleveland's going to hire Sean McDermott.
Not a bad move. I'm not mad at that. I was kind of hoping he would make his way to Pittsburgh along with Brian Flores, but
that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Well, I saw they interviewed him today, right? Today. Yeah. In person, right? In person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He came to the building and everything. So we'll see. We're hopeful. You know what I'm saying? We gotta figure this thing out. I think the thing that's holding up them making a decision, they want to interview both those Rams coordinators, and they're in the NFC Championship game. There could be another guy who we want to look at, and he's in the NFC Championship game. So I think our hopes of finding the coach is slightly delayed because I think it's going to be one of those guys. But with that being said, let's get in here, man. We got a lot to talk about, and we got people on time limit. So Villain, talk to me, my guy. You introduced your head coach today, man. Where's that at?
I thought it was a good press conference. I think the important part was Harbaugh's soundbite about we both report to the owner. He's the boss. And then, I think they asked Joe Shane about that too. One thing that was kind of funny to me, Shane looked kind of flustered as he introduced John Harbaugh. I don't know if you caught that, but he was kind of stumbling a little bit. Like, I usually see him a little bit more collective, not really stumbling over his words. And listen, I speak all the time on calls with VPs and SVPs and all EVPs, and I get a little flustered too, but that was a little out of character for him. So that was what I was noticing. But they asked him about the chain of the command. And it's, we're all, reporting to the boss, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So, I think people are going to make a big deal out of that dynamic. It's not unusual. It is what it is. Joe Shane doesn't have much of a leg to stand on at this point. Like, you have a job. You know what I'm saying? It could be that or trying to buy groceries. Like, what's groceries? That's a new word. You know what I mean? But like, be happy you got a job. And then, but I like to your point. I like what I heard from John Harbaugh. I think we do have some talent on this team. And I think it's about restoring some order and getting everybody on the same page. And I like what I hear. So on to the next one, on to the draft, right? Well, you got the combine and then you got the draft. So on to that.
Pro days and all that sort of stuff. And we'll talk about that, as the clock turns. But CK, I'm not sure if you caught too much of it, man. John Harbaugh's interview, man. What'd you think, bro?
I thought that it hit all the right notes for Harbaugh. Barry and I had talked offline that when they were still trying to negotiate. I said, I think it's about control. See, in Baltimore, everybody kind of was on the same level, but at the end of the day, Ozzie Newsome was going to have final say. You understand what I'm saying? Right. Ozzie Newsome always, as long as Ozzie Newsome is alive and breathing, he's going to have final say. I think Harbaugh wanted to make sure that if there had to be a tiebreaker, it was going to lean his way. You understand what I'm saying? And I had also said to Barry offline, Joe Shane's scouting staff and people that he has in place already, they better nail his draft. What Harbaugh did was genius in many ways. Instead of coming in and rooting everybody out, He comes in and says, "Okay, I'm gonna give y'all a year to show me who you are, show me what you do, show me what you're good at." So now, rather than coming to clean the house and starting over, because you might be getting rid of some people that are really good, you get a chance to get to know them, figure out who you want to keep, who you want to let go. So Joe Shane, you just introduced your new boss, bro. And that's okay. It is what it is. But Joe Shane has had a good, I'd say, last draft and a half. I'd say his last draft and a half has been pretty good. So he nails the draft. He keeps his job. Everybody moves on. I think Harbaugh was the best fit for this franchise simply because you know he's going to be there all 5 years. Okay? We know he's going to be there 5 years. At a minimum, he's going to be there 5 years. We know that this team last year could have won legitimately 7 games.
Easily.
Legitimately could have won 7 games. So Harbaugh, let's say they win the 7 games, because you know how those things flip when you lose those close games one year, the next year you win them. Give Harbaugh 2 more wins, bro. That's a 9-win team. And that's as presently constructed without the draft, without free agency. So you already walking in there with 9 wins. So I like what they did. I like what Harbaugh brings. I still need to see who his DC is going to be. Okay. If he brings in who I think he's going to bring in, I'm going to have a problem with that. Outside of that,
I think Orr's coming with him, bro.
Yeah. I alluded to it, and I don't know if you saw my video. I talked about it's going to be a Baltimore guy. There's some good names out there. I wouldn't be crazy about Orr. I wouldn't be completely mad at it because he is a good DC. He is a good mind, but I like some of the names that I've heard floated out there. I think Weaver from Miami, it might be solid too. So I think you're going to get one of those names, and then I'm I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but there's what's next. I did talk about the DCs, the OC. I think we talked about it. That's locked up. Tom Munkin is the guy.
Yeah, that's the guy. Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's the thing with Munkin. Again, I'm not going to try to turn it into a whole Giants thing because we could do that.
Yeah, we don't have to do it.
I don't think he's the right guy there.
But he's going to be the guy.
But he's going to be the guy there. Like, we've seen what his offense has done. We've seen it, now. Granted, the New York Giants have better tools to work with, at the receiver position than Baltimore did. So perhaps the schemes and stuff that he is going to cook up may work better. However, I figured this was just copy paste. And the Giants had an opportunity to kind of think outside the box. Yeah, you go get John Harbaugh, but from where I'm sitting and kind of what I want the Steelers to do, kind of, since we're in the same boat, think outside the box. You know what I'm saying? Don't go get the same dude. Like, if we hire Brian Flores, don't go get, the offensive coordinator from the Vikings. And, I'm like, think outside the box, mix and match it and see what you can come up with. So, I mean, as somebody who's battled, Harbaugh and Munkin for a significant period of time, I kind of already know what that offense is going to look like.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, but it's not. There's nothing we can do about that. That's the guy. That's who they're going to get. I mean, I like Orr not as much. I think I'm in the same boat with you. I like Weaver. I like Jim Leonard. I think that might be an interesting hire too. What I would love to be the ultimate FU is bring back Wink Martindale.
Bro,
I would love that.
I would love that too.
I would love that.
Okay.
And Harbaugh has worked with Martindale.
Absolutely.
Yes.
He was on the staff for like
did that
years.
Man wrong.
Well, Brian, they allowed Brian Daboll to
did him wrong, and so
they had to choose between the head coach and the coordinator. And the coach is always going to win that battle.
Yeah.
So coach always going to win that battle. But yeah, I mean, and even if it is copy and paste from Baltimore, let's be honest. If you wonder what the same results Baltimore had for the next 5 years, what Giants fans are going to be mad?
Not many.
Meaning that you get into the playoffs, right? You maybe lose in the first round, then you lose in the division round, then you lose in the NFC Championship. Tell me what Giant fan is going to be mad about that after the years.
For the last 10 years, we haven't had that. So I mean, I know the Jets fan would sign up for that in a heartbeat. So
listen,
it is what it is. But I mean, I think they got to get the coordinator right. And to your point, the staff has the execs, the higher ups have to get everything right, because I'm looking at it like this. I'll leave it at this. I don't want to really talk a lot of Giants. I don't have any ill will to Joe Shane. I think he's okay. But there's a guy sitting right behind him, his top assistant, that is waiting to take his job, in Brandon Brown. Like, if you don't know who Brandon Brown is, then y'all better do your research out there, because this kid he's smart and he knows his stuff. He was on that staff in Philadelphia. They brought him over here, and ever since they really brought him, they started to hit on some stuff, on some picks, and he was the one that wanted to keep Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So Brandon Brown is smart and he gets it. So, it'll be a thing like they can fire the GM midway through the season and things ain't working out. Brandon steps into that role as an interim, and it's a perfect dynamic. The young guy with the veteran coach, you don't have to do too much. You know what I mean? And it kind of keeps that power structure in place. So be on the lookout.
Well,
Yeah.
What you also do is you doing Joe Shane a favor. This is how this works in the NFL. You doing him a solid, because at the end of the season, Joe Shane can do a lateral move somewhere else, because he's already greasing the wheels, so he can go somewhere else. Somebody needs a general manager that likes him. He can go work with somebody who wants to work with him. You understand what I'm saying? So basically, you doing him a solid for a year. Oh, this guy can work with John Harbaugh. Oh, give me that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The only thing better than that job is the Bills GM.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna give myself a promotion.
Hey, right. You draft 2 Pro Bowls in the past 6-7 years?
7 years,
8 years.
8 years.
Yeah, okay, 8 years.
8 years, and you get a promotion while your
That's
head coach
nasty work, bro.
gets fired.
That's nasty work.
I saw
man.
like a TikTok or something about that series. He's like, so how about this? How about I give myself a promotion? Well, how's that going to fix things? Well, then I don't have the job I had before.
I said to you guys.
Yeah, I was like, that
was some nasty work, bro.
But since we're on basketball for a minute, man, Jimmy Butler suffers an ACL into the season, causing the Golden State Warriors whole player development personnel system to go in uproar, because, as we very well are aware, Jonathan Kuminga has asked for his release and his trade. As we currently sit here, I haven't seen him go back and recant that. So now, as we talked about in the green room, we have an angry Jonathan Kuminga being forced into action. Let's spin this around the association real quick, and then we'll move on. But we got that going on. We got Jalen Brunson calling a players only meeting because I guess something's going on in New York. Houston Rockets
in New York right now.
Yeah, Houston Rockets Steven Adams is gone for a while with the sprain. We got some other stuff going on. Spin this around, bro, man. Where'd your head at? Villain, talk to me.
It's unfortunate. Prayers up to Jimmy Butler and Steven Adams. Like, Steven Adams, just cannot stay healthy. He's such an impactful player, and you really feel bad for a guy like that. But Jimmy Buckets, 36 years old, a devastating knee injury. Today's injury is not the same as like back in the day when we saw Dominique Wilkins get that Achilles tear. It's not the same, right? But it's still 36 years old with a total knee blowout. That ain't fun. So I don't know how he moves on. I don't know what's going to happen with him if he gets another bite at the apple at the contract table. But I think the Golden State Warriors need to have a serious conversation with Steph Curry. Do you want to finish your career here and just be the guy on your team, or do you want to go to a team where you have a chance to get that 5th ring? That's a serious conversation.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, those conversations have been had, with the likes of Jonathan Antetokounmpo, so some other, marquee players that have played in one place for a significant period of time and has had significant success. But we talked about it in the green room, like Steph Curry playing on another franchise to jump on and get a ring. Isn't that the same stuff that we killed LeBron James and others for doing? So it's kind of
don't know if it's the same thing.
I don't know if it's really the same thing, but I don't know.
No, I mean, because LeBron did it to jump to the next team when that team was faded. This team is a different circumstance because it's an injury in season. He's much older. He's not going to be an impact player. And you got to look at this Warriors team. I think we've talked about it in other areas, but they're in salary cap hell.
Oh yeah.
If they bought in all the way in to get Curry and get another bite at the apple, get another ring. If they're not going to get it with this iteration, when do you start to blow it up? It's not just moving Curry to get the fifth ring, the ring chase. It's about blowing it up and then doing right by Curry by moving him to a situation that's beneficial for both sides. That's why I think it's a little different. But I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
That's the free agent anyway. After next year, he's a free agent.
Right. And that's the thing is you have to have the conversation.
Yeah.
I think Curry, if he takes his emotion out of it and everything else, because see, he can always go back to them from wherever he is when that contract runs out, sign back there and do his farewell tour as a Warrior. Okay. And if it's only for about a year, no one's going to remember that year. Even if he wins a ring, they're going to remember him as a Warrior no matter what.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, since Bob Myers left, that team has been, that front office has been terrible. They can't figure out what they want to do. They can't make a decision, and they can't pull the trigger. Now, Barry, you said player development. There ain't no player development there. It never has been. Never has been. This is why the young man from Memphis, James, whose last name I can't remember, that's why he wound up not going, who's actually now developed with some other teams, and now is playing pretty decently. He's become a good player, good rotational piece in this league. Wiseman, that's what I'm thinking of. James Wiseman.
Oh, Wiseman, yeah, he's in Sacramento. No, where's he at?
Detroit, maybe.
I think it was James Wiseman's at. Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah,
but he's a good rotational piece now. Somebody they could use. Steve Kerr buried Jonathan Kuminga, who wants to trade and is unhappy, and now you stuck using him. But is he really going to give you? Listen, when you're miserable at a job,
Indiana, by the way.
Okay, when you're miserable at a job, you think you're giving your best. You're not. You know what I'm saying? You're going through the motions half the time and don't even realize it because you hate that place so much. You know what I'm saying? So you have to do something. It would be smart for them to offload not just Curry, but Green and start the rebuild now. That would be the smart thing to do. I don't know if
anybody would want him, though.
Draymond and Steph are unrestricted free agents at the same time.
Right. Somebody will take Draymond Green, a young team that's trying to figure it out how to win, that's in contention right now. Say a New Orleans Pelicans, you think they wouldn't take Draymond Green? Now, I don't know what they'd have to give up. The kid Jones, who can't stay healthy, by the way. They got some nice pieces to give up. They take a Draymond Green just to go down there and stick his foot in Zion's behind. Okay, keep him out the doggone restaurants. You know what I'm saying? Stop eating the etouffee. You know what I'm saying?
I'm telling you.
But so there's some places he could go. There's places Steph Curry could go. Houston would take Steph Curry, bro. They'd be like, okay,
I would be crying. I'm not gonna hold you. I would be emotional as crap.
So, and as far as the Knicks go, see, Mike Brown's this is the one thing about Mike Brown is he doesn't know how to read the room. When Draymond Green did what he did to Karl Anthony Towns, and Mike Brown was yucking it up with him after the game, he lost Karl Anthony Towns. He lost Karl Anthony Towns has been non-existent since then. And the thing is, Karl Anthony Towns always had games where he kind of floats. But he at least gave you some effort, even though he was floating. There's no effort coming out of him right now. He don't trust that coach. He don't believe in that coach. A lot of players don't believe in that coach right now because of what he did. He failed to read the room. And add in the fact that Mike Brown has buried two big men that he could be playing until he can mend fences with Karl Anthony Towns and Yabusele and Ariel Hookporty, who we know Hookporty last year gave energy. He gives you rebounds. He gives you defense. He gives you toughness. And every couple of games, he'll give you 10, 12, 15 points. Well, you buried him on the bench. Your rotations are screwed. And now the players are fractured. So you got Jalen Brunson telling the team, listen, I don't give a damn about Mike Brown. Screw him. It's us. And we got to do this. but can you win a championship like that? I don't think so.
I don't know if Brown is actually. I'm not Brown. Brunson is actually going out there defying the coach, but I think he realizes that the problem that everybody realizes is that this team is not playing defense, and it's an effort thing. To your point, and I think the team that he's definitely lost half of the team. I mean, I get that you were an assistant coach in Golden State, and you went to go see your old players and all that, but to your point, you got to understand that Cat has issues with Draymond Green, and it was just a bad look, however you meant it or not. I mean, when you just came off of calling out Cat in public, and then you go yuck it up with Draymond Green, that's a bad look. But I found it really hard to watch that game on Martin Luther King Day. I wanted to call you and be like, what the hell is this? But I couldn't even keep it on the channel for more than 5 minutes because I was getting so pissed off. Like this is the worst stretch the Knicks have had in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
9 out of the last 11.
Yeah,
9 out of the last 11 games. We haven't had a streak like this in the last 4 years. Who was the coach? Thibodeau. You know what I mean? But like we're not playing defense. People are in roles that they don't accept right now. That's across the board. So they don't trust the coach because they don't trust the role that they're in. Either they don't trust the role or they don't like the role.
They don't understand the damn role because
that too.
He's playing around. This reminds me of the end of the Phil Jackson coaching or GM thing, where basically 3/4 of the team had checked out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When you put the guys at the end of the bench in a game and they're jogging up and down the court, that tells you all you need to know. When the guys who never get in the game ain't giving you no effort, you got a problem.
And I don't know where you go from here. I don't know if you do something with the coach or you move Cat. You know what I mean? That fixes it. I don't know if that fixes the solution because you have the same problem. You have the same poor defense.
Mike Brown got to fall on the sword. Mike Brown has to stand in front of that team and fall on the sword and say, you know what? I screwed up, bro. I screwed up. I understand that. What I'm asking you to do is trust me to be better and trust me to do better.
That's accountability. That's accountability. Something that I don't think that many head coaches. And here's the funny thing about it is like we're sitting here talking about them losing 9 out of the last 11. They're in third, number three spot.
Exactly. So this is fixable. It's
fixable. It can get reversed really quick. Before the All-Star break, because they're trying to say it's like the dog days of January before I get it. You listen, the All-Star break couldn't come at a better time, right? You got it in a couple weeks. You got a get right game, which I can't call a get right game tomorrow against the Brooklyn Nets because God knows what's going to happen against them. They could mess
we know that Nets gonna give effort.
Yeah, they're going to give effort. So you got to get this win. You got to get the guys bought in. To your point, Unc, I totally agree with you. It's not about him, resigning or anything, or Leon Rose getting rid of him. He's got to be accountable. He's got to come to the players and say, "I'm sorry. This is what we were doing. Go back to what you were doing before." Because it's not just defense. The ball's not moving. And the offense is it's getting really hard to get a bucket. And that's the trap we fell into last year. It was hard to get a bucket. You give it to Jalen Brunson. He does all this work. I don't need Jalen Brunson dribbling the air out of the ball. That's not how it works. That's not how we were winning early in the season. It was the ball movement. It's the crispness. It was the rotation. You know what I mean? So you got most of these guys back. You got Hart back. You got McBride back. Just let's go. Let's get it, man. Like, you know what I mean? You found lightning in a bottle with Tyler Kolek. You know what I mean? You got energy off the bench. Mike Brown, to your point, he's got to stand in front of this team and do right by them. And you know what? Go get you a defensive coach. Go get you a defensive assistant that can get these guys in order.
Who they respect and will listen to. Listen, Doc Rivers won that championship because Tom Thibodeau was his defensive coach.
That's right.
Let's not get it twisted. Since Tom Thibodeau left, Doc Rivers teams have been booty when it matters. Okay, they've been booty. Mike Brown, but see, this is going to require Mike Brown to have some self-assessment and some humility.
Yeah,
and to be honest with himself about where he's failing. Like you said, this All-Star break could not come at a better time because the first 5 games after the All-Star break are going to tell me all I need to know about whether this team has a shot at winning a championship or getting beat in the second round. They'll get out the first round. They'll get out the first round.
It depends, man. I'm not sure, man. I mean, looking at it, dude, like
I mean, there's
like,
some teams in the first round that you definitely don't.
East, bro. There's some teams in the East, man. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be interesting, man. But
don't fall to the 4th seed. Don't fall to the 4th seed because if you got to face Detroit in the second round, please believe.
That's why I said they'll get through the first. They're gonna be bounced in the second. They get bounced in the second round if they play the way they are right now. They're getting bounced in the second round. I don't care who they play.
Right.
Because Philly gonna beat you in the second round, Detroit gonna beat you in the second round, and if Toronto, you mess around and catch Toronto, who gives you fits, even though you beat them, they keep beating Toronto, but them games are tight.
Right.
Toronto's hooping right now.
But I mean, you got a chance. Real quick, and then I'll let it go. You got a chance to get some right games. You got Brooklyn. Philly's gonna be tough in Philly because they're playing pretty well.
That kid is a monster.
Yeah, I mean, but you got Sacramento at home. You got Toronto, who you can beat. You got Portland. The Lakers don't really play defense. You got Washington. So you got some games here that you can start getting in the win column. Then you got Denver, Detroit, and Boston. That's gonna be a tough little stretch. You know what I mean? So let's go. Let's get it. Let's get it together.
Yeah.
Get it together.
Looking ahead, we got a couple guys coming back off injury, but I'm gonna leave basketball there for now, man. We got a lot of other stuff to touch. We had a national championship last night. Shout out to the Indiana Hoosiers for getting it done, beating Miami, and it was a pretty good game actually. I felt as though it kind of lived up to it a little bit. I wanted to spin it around, let you guys talk about it. I know we spoke about it offline, but I wanted to give you guys the opportunity to put it online, man. CK, what'd you think, bro?
I thought Indiana would win, and they did. Listen, what bothered me was the Miami Slurpathon. Okay,
where to edit that?
The pregame show was 2.5 hours. About a half hour of it was dedicated to the unbeaten number 1 team in the country. 2 hours of it was dedicated to Miami. That really irritated me. It irritated me during the broadcast that they didn't even want to talk about Cass was coming through with baseball bats and hitting Fernando Mendoza in the back of the head. Well, I don't know if that was a penalty. I mean, the bat didn't have spikes in it. Like, come on, man. But the game itself was a really good game. Listen, half that Miami defense is going to be playing in the NFL next year. Half of that defense. 6 of those guys are going to be on the NFL rosters. 3 others that we don't know about may wind up on NFL rosters. It's like 9 of them cats. That was an NFL defense Miami played last night. And Mendoza made plays when he needed to, managed the game properly. I'm very sorry he's going to Las Vegas. I feel so bad for that young man. I really do, because that's a trash organization. But Kurt Signetti reminds me of young Jim Harbaugh. When I say young, I mean like about in his 50s. He looks like a burnout candidate, Chief. Bro, you just won a national championship, and you look like, bro, you look like you in pain.
It's all right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, whatever, man. But like, come on, son, bro. You listen, smell the roses, man. You 64 years old. Smell a rose. You might have to smell all the roses. Just smell one of them. Just smell one of them. But I love that game. I love the fact that with NIL, playing field is level, bro. You can talk about SEC dominance all you want. Anybody that gets the right coach, gets the right donors, and hits the portal, they got a shot now. And I mean legitimate shot to at least get to the national championship. At least get there. So I loved it for everything it was. I like the fact that Indiana won. So and maybe they'll start to, well, that's the losing. No one cares, bro. They're winning now. I don't care what they did in the past. They're winning now. But I think it was a good game. This entire playoffs, outside of one game, which we all know the game we talking about, outside of one game, was worth the watch. Every single one.
Yeah. I looking at how this game unfolded, it unfolded kind of in the manner in which I thought it would. I didn't think Indiana was gonna blow these guys out. Miami's defense is very, very good. And Carson Beck and this offense made enough plays. Like Fletcher ran for 112 yards. Tony, the 18-year-old freshman went to work. And so it kind of unfolded in the manner in which I did. And I was talking to my dad. I was watching it with my dad yesterday, and I was like, "Yo, pops, like at some point, Mendoza's going to have to put this team on his back and get it done." And so the fourth down play where he, ran into the end zone, I was like, that is your Heisman candidate right there. That is your first round draft pick because it was a ballsy call. But I loved everything about this game, man. I think that the right two teams got there. I don't think they got there on some fluke type stuff. We'll talk about the NFL here in a minute. But I felt as though they were the number one team for a significant period of time. They were the number one team throughout these playoffs. And when the light shined the brightest, they were the number one team. And so I tip my cap to them. This is not, throwing shade at Miami. They bought out, But once again, 3 years in a row, a Big Ten team is your national championship. Is your national champion. I'm a happy dude right now. Villain, talk to me, big dog.
I'm a happy dude. What is wrong with you, man? What is wrong?
Big Ten, the best conference in college football.
Can't argue that right now. But listen, I was surprised. I was getting tired and I was in and out, but I was surprised it was a 10-0 game at halftime, and it could have been 10-3. I don't know about you, in serious. I felt like Miami was dominated in the first half, and it was only 10-0, and I felt like that left the door open for that big run in the second half by Thompson, and then Tony had that nice run and catch and run too, and got them back into the game. But I think to your point, when you see the Heisman Trophy candidate and winner prove why he's the number one pick in the draft with a couple fourth downs, one was like a 4th and 5, and he had the run for what 10 12 yards, something like that, and then he had the back shoulder throw on 4th down,
the back shoulder throws that this man made
on 4th down, like
so sick.
It's just it's unbelievable that, and then he had the touchdown run that everybody's showing on highlights, but to me those 4th down plays showed me what kind of kid he is. So it was a really phenomenal game. It came down to the last drive, and I know we talked about it, Unc, and we were going back and forth, and LG was going back and forth. I listen. Carson Beck didn't Carson Beck, but Carson Beck made one bad throw, and it ended the game. I'm not saying he lost the game. It ended the game.
I refuse to say that. I can't say
no,
that.
No. I'm not saying he lost the game. It ended the game, and I think there's a distinct difference because he forced that throw.
He did.
And you know what? It wasn't a terrible read. It wasn't the right read, but let's give that kid credit. Let's give Sharp credit. That was he had the inside. He played leverage properly, forced him inside, but knew he had help over the top, and he had his eyes on the ball the whole way, on the quarterback the whole way, and he picked that. That's just textbook. Like if you teach a corner, when you have inside help, you push him to the inside, get inside leverage, and then you use the safety and you cut the field down. That's how you teach them how to play cornerback. That's the difference between an Indiana team and everybody else. Indiana doesn't beat themselves. They don't make mistakes. And especially on defense, to Unc's point, you got all those kids on there that are going to be in the NFL and starters one day really soon because they don't make mistakes. That's a veteran team that's well coached, and they don't beat themselves. That play, to me, any other team in college, that's a completion. He'll force it in, and the corner doesn't really make that play.
No, because he's not looking for the ball.
Correct.
Yeah, but Indiana makes that play, and that's the difference. So, well deserved 16-0. Like you can't. I mean, you could talk about the superlatives all you want and how that team has come from nowhere, but it is truly remarkable that 3 years ago, nobody's talking about Indiana football, and Signetti has got them. Now they're going to lose some kids, and I don't know if they're going to be a power, but that's a special job that he
Get
did
it
and
when
those
you
kids
can,
did.
because it's not promised next year.
That's right. That's
No,
right.
absolutely.
You can.
Google it. Google it. But like, you know what I mean? But like, that's a special job that he did. And I just hope everybody gives him and those kids the credit they deserve, because it doesn't happen very often, especially in college football. Like you might see it in the NFL every so often. Like we saw it with like the Rams in 1999. We saw, Unc remembers the 49ers in 81. I've seen teams that have turned it around pretty quickly in a year or two. Like the Lions have turned their corner around. Like they're a better team, but to see that in college football is rare. And
here's all you need to know: Indiana's probably going to lose 2 games next year, and it's going to be a catastrophe. Think about that.
That's right. That's right.
It'll be a catastrophe. Oh my God, they lost 2 games, so they turned it back into the old Indiana.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. That's right. That's how special it is. So I hope they savor it, and I hope everybody gives them the props that they deserve. Yeah. Great game, though. Great game.
Yeah. Great game. Moving on to the NFL really quickly, and we'll get you guys hopefully out of here in the next couple minutes.
Oh, one thing I want to talk about too, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
So they're gonna have that vote this week. Do you want 16 teams?
No, because and it's because of the Big Ten and this nonsense about going to 24 teams in 3 years. They don't need to go to 24 teams in 3 years. Not in 3 years. Not in 3 years. Maybe in 5, maybe in 6. Let some of these teams that you want to get in there get a little more built up with the NIL stuff. But bro, they don't need to go to 24 teams in 3 years, bro.
I do think 16 teams is right.
I don't.
Why do you think it's
right? I think 14.
Here's the issue, okay? I liked it when it went from 4 to, I think it was 4 to 8, or did it go from 4 to 12? I forget where it's at.
It went from 4 to 12. It went from 4 to 12.
Yeah, it went 4. Okay, so it went from 4 to 12. I think 12 is right. Because you have the guys who stub their toe early on and can make it up and get themselves in. But you got to look at it like this. These guys are out of school, which means they're not practicing and doing different things. So if you're going to add 4 more teams, that's at least 2 more games you have to play. And these guys are still on vacation or whatever. They're not pushing it back. You know what I'm saying? Like we just had the national championship game on January 19th. So you're gonna.
I think that needs to get fixed. I think that.
And the thing is, like, I'm all for more football. But like, at what cost?
Well, here's why I push back, and I heard a really good argument about it, and I want to see what you guys think, especially you, Unc. A couple years ago, and let's say 10 years ago, you could probably tell me 4 teams at the most that could contend for a national championship.
Yep.
And there's a clear separation from those top 5 teams and the bottom 5 teams, even in the top 10. Now, with NIL and the way there's the level, it's level. The playing field is level. The SEC has come down. The Big Ten has gone up. So now there is a legitimate argument that Notre Dame, Vanderbilt, Texas, maybe even Michigan could play with Miami, Indiana, Alabama. Like the money is spread out. There's a lot more parity. You never had this kind of parity in college football because it was the Alabamas and everybody else, or the SEC teams at the top and everybody else. Like you barely had like Ohio State and Michigan that could contend. Like a couple of years ago, Michigan couldn't play with Alabama. Right now, Michigan could beat the crap out of Indiana.
Yeah,
you never had that. You know what I mean?
See, like, here's my only retort to that.
That's why I think 16 teams is good. That's why
here's my only retort to that, though. Like whether you get the NIL money or whatever, you still got to go on the field and play the games. And so if
it's not about rewarding the teams that
no,
lose.
I know.
I think
that
the playing field is more level.
To your point, Texas, Notre Dame, Vanderbilt, take care of your business on the field, and you gonna be.
I agree with you. I agree with you in
you know
that.
What I'm saying?
I agree with you, but
here's the thing. 10 years ago, Ole Miss wouldn't have even been in the playoff.
Correct.
Right.
And they deserved it. They would have deserved to be, but they wouldn't have been.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The reason I like 16 and 16 only, not 24.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, they need to adjust the damn schedule. And they got to fix this damn portal nonsense. Okay, the dates. They got to fix that nonsense with the dates.
Go after the national championship game. After the national. Why?
Right. Exactly. But think about this. This year, you would have had Vanderbilt in. You would have had a Texas team, which I don't believe in, but that Texas team was peaking. You would have had Notre Dame team in.
Notre Dame would have got in.
Notre Dame would have got in, and there's a fourth team I'm forgetting.
Maybe it was it?
Vanderbilt.
No, I said Vanderbilt. BYU. Yes.
Yeah.
You're gonna tell me that of those 4 teams, one of them wouldn't have gave a couple of these cats a really good game?
Oh yeah.
And this is what I'm talking. That's the only reason I'm saying 16. Yes, the schedule stinks, bro.
Mm-hmm.
But because the playing field has been leveled, right now we have an opportunity to see a different national champion every single year now, regardless of conference.
Right.
Okay. It could come literally, dude. We could wind up with a MAC team in the playoff next year if the MAC team gets themselves a Kurt Signetti, right? Mm-hmm. They could. I'm just saying. So the reality is 16 is the perfect number because it allows you to get a couple of teams that would not have gotten in but deserve to be in, but won't get in because of money. Listen, we all know that money drives this bus. Okay. Yeah. If it come down to Vanderbilt or one of these teams that was in this year, Vanderbilt gonna lose out. Okay, you can say what you want about Michigan, but if it comes down to Michigan or Alabama, Alabama's getting in. Let's be honest. It is what it is. Especially with Nick Saban work for ESPN. You think, come on, son. So the 16 works for that. I don't want to see 24, but the reason that's going to screw it all up has nothing to do with the number of teams. It's the portal dates and how these coaches are allowed to basically hold these teams hostage and then just abandon these teams while they're trying to prepare for a game that a lot of these kids may never get to play in again.
Right. And I just think, and I'll close it off like this. A lot of these teams, Alabama had, third and fourth stringers that could play against, maybe a 16 seed that can play right now. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Those kids are now on Vanderbilt. Those kids are on BYU now. You know what I mean? So that's why I think, 16 teams is good. I think that's where it's going to go. And I agree with you on, I don't want it to see any more teams than that. I think that's enough. And just
the thing is, dates forward. What's to stop them from adding 24? I mean, we sat here again. I don't want to sound like I'm bashing them or whatever, but like Unc has always said this. You know what I'm saying? He wants the March Madness style, for football. Let the 64 teams in, let them battle out on the field, and they need the money. But like to your point, like when's the cutoff?
When the ratings start dropping, they'll start cutting teams back. That's the cutoff, bro. The cutoff is when the ratings start dropping. When people say, I'm tired of, and that's why they came up, added teams, because they realized that people that stopped watching the bowl games. Mm-hmm. I grew up watching bowl games starting on my birthday, December 27th. Okay, because that's when bowl season start. I was watching that bowl game on December 27th when everybody went back to work. I was watching that damn game.
I love bowl games.
People stopped watching the bowl games. I can't tell you the last time that people talked about the Hawaii Bowl. Hawaii Bowl used to be a big deal. It was wintertime. We watched these kids playing in Hawaii. You know what I'm saying? The Holiday Bowl used to be a big deal. No one can tell you where the Holiday Bowl's even played now. It's in San Diego, by the way. Always has been. But most people can't tell you that. So
it's so watered down, though, Coach.
That's my point. So now we come up with, let's add teams to the playoffs. Now there's renewed interest, right? So
and you get these kids from stop missing these bowl games too.
And with the NIL money and the kids saying, hey, I can stay here another season, I can build up my draft stock and keep getting a check, the playoff system works. So they're going to keep adding teams, unfortunately, until people get tired of it.
What if Miami didn't make it into the playoff and
Notre
Carson
Dame
Beck
had.
lost out on a lot of money? Carson Beck would have lost out on a lot of money. So
His
I mean,
draft
you can
stock
make
improved tremendously. Yeah, some of these kids. Listen, the kid for Indiana, the one they kept calling Chuck, Charlie, is it Becker? Becker's name? I think his name is
the receiver. You mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
That kid is now a second-day draft pick.
Yeah, his stock went up. You know, a couple kids on Miami, they're especially the D-line kids, their stock went up.
Some of the Alabama players, even when Alabama got mollywopped, their draft stock went up because people saw how hard they were playing. So you
Chambliss's stock went up. You know what I mean?
Bro, some of the Tulane kids, just because they got the exposure. Some of the Ole Miss kids, because they got the exposure. Their draft stock, maybe now they're day 3 instead of day 4. But guess what? That's a few $100,000 extra in their pocket. Or they found out, well, you know what? I'm only going to be day 4. Let me come back for another year. So there is a benefit. The biggest negative is the portal timing. That's the negative.
Yeah.
That's what's got to be fixed.
Okay.
Yeah. So, moving right along, spinning around the NFL really quickly. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams right now in search of a head coach. Baltimore Ravens, Cleveland Browns, Pittsburgh Steelers, Arizona Cardinals, Las Vegas Raiders, Miami Dolphins, and the Buffalo Bills. Still, we have hirings in Atlanta. Atlanta Falcons have hired Kev Stefanski. Tennessee Titans late last night has hired Robert Saleh as their head coach. So we got some movement there. But
I told you he was going to get a job.
11 openings. They keep saying it was 10. There were 11 openings.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I told you Saleh was going to get a job, man. I
knew he was. I knew he was.
I wish he hadn't, because that's a terrible franchise to go work for. In 3 years, Robert Saleh, they're going to be talking about, well, you're going to start
going right back to San Fran. Work on that defense some more.
Well, you know what? We said that about Houston, right? We said last year. We said that about Houston, DeMarco Ryan.
No, I didn't. I didn't. But
no, we said Houston was a terrible franchise. We said that.
Yes, but after the first season he was there, we stopped saying that.
Listen, no, that's what I mean. After the first season,
That's also because the people in charge decided to stop messing with everything, right? The Tennessee Titans ownership group, the owner is that nut, and I use that word specifically, didn't fall far from that damn tree.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. She is just as flighty and sometimey and wishy-washy as her father was, and knee-jerky. All right. So, and here's the thing: who's he gonna get for an offense coordinator? Nobody wanted to go there to coach. Nobody wanted to go to be OC. There's people that turned down OC interviews with that organization. All right. So if
to your point, I kind of feel bad for him now that I'm thinking about it.
If Cam Ward doesn't develop, and who's there to develop him, right? Now you're talking about he's got to get another quarterback. Now I'm in my second year. I got started with a new quarterback. I got to bring in a veteran quarterback. But in the meantime, I got this rookie quarterback. You see the merry-go-round there? Tennessee is a bad organization. I understand Robert Saleh wanted the head coaching job. I'm not going to begrudge the man a job. I think that in 3 years it's going to be over, not because of him, but because of the organization. Because the organization matters. The owner matters. And that's bad ownership. That's why nobody's running to get that Arizona job, even though if you look at the roster, that's kind of a talented roster there in Arizona. Don't nobody want to deal with the Bidwells. Nobody would deal with that nonsense.
No, I don't think anybody want to deal with Murray either.
Well, but see,
he on his way out.
Yeah, you can get rid of Kyler Murray, but you still got the owner. The job that I'm surprised, and again, this goes back to ownership. There is no reason in hell that the Cleveland Browns should still not have a head coach. No reason in hell. Okay, you had Mike McDaniel sitting there, right? Now, again, it wouldn't have mattered.
He withdrew his name from contention.
There you go. It wouldn't have mattered that they said no. But again, publicly, you should have made a play for Tomlin. Yes, the Steelers would have said hell no. but you should have made a play to show people you're serious. You got to make a, you know what I'm saying? You have to at least ask the question, make the phone call, and then leak the fact that you made the phone call. They didn't do that, right? You had Harbaugh out there. I understand that Harbaugh probably wasn't going to go there, but again, you have to show that you're serious about this. So now, so if it's not Sean McDermott, Cleveland Browns, another clown organization.
There's a couple of guys that Cleveland can kind of go after and grab. Again,
I like the young coaches that are the young OCs.
I think they're all playing this weekend. Chula. So there's some guys that they may have requested to interview or want to talk to, but they're busy chasing the championship. I think Bill Callahan being hired as their offensive line coach in Atlanta is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be insane. I think that's, again, we laughed at Matt Ryan for taking that job and then subsequently hiring Kev Stefanski, but so far a week and some change in, he's doing some work.
But Kevin Stefanski is not a good coach, so they're going to have, again, they're going to win 8 or 9 games and then miss the playoffs. They're going to win 8 or 9 games and make the playoffs. They're going to win 8 or 9 games and miss the playoffs. They're still going to be mediocre with Stefanski. They'll just look better being mediocre.
You're the Atlanta Falcons, so you play in the NFC South. So
you get that extra game, you get that extra home game, the extra money. they ain't gonna complain.
Yeah,
they ain't gonna complain.
Mike McDaniel is, again, we led with this, going to be the new Chargers offensive coordinator, which I think is huge for them.
Yeah.
That's a cheat code right there.
Yeah, because Harbaugh lets his OCs do what they do. He don't mess with them. He let them live. That's why he got rid of Greg Roman. He looked at Greg Roman and said, "Bro, I gave you carte blanche, and this is what you gave me. You out."
Yeah, and it kind of hurt because he lost a couple offensive linemen, but at the end of the day, I feel like they're in a good spot right now, and I think they're just a receiver or two away from really fixing that offense.
Better play calling.
Yeah, no. Now they have the play call. That's what I'm saying. Now I think they're just a receiver or two away.
We said this about Trevor Lawrence, and I'm gonna flip it back on Justin Herbert. It's now time to boo or get off the pot.
Yeah.
No, I think Trevor Lawrence, despite losing that game, had a really good year and really turned his career around. And now I think the organization has faith in him that he can be that guy.
Yeah.
To your point, Justin Herbert gets a lot of passes.
Oh my God.
A lot of
he gets a lot of passes, and some of it, I think, is the talent around him. But they had a really elite defense a year or two ago.
Right.
Their defense was pretty good this year. What are you talking about? Their defense was good this year.
That's what I'm saying. But they had a high price defense a year or two ago.
Mitchell's in the coaching cycle right now. Their defensive coordinator.
So I think it's, to your point, I think Justin Herbert, you want to be, you getting paid that money. It's time for you to earn that money.
If he craps the bed with Mike McDaniel as his coach, oh bro, he's getting slayed. He is getting slayed because all the excuses are gone now. You got a play caller that we know can call plays. This dude made Tua look good. All right. He made Tua look like a world beater. You got more talent than Tua.
He got Tua a contract.
Bro, yeah. He got Tua money.
That part. Right?
You got Tua paid.
At this point, Herbert, you got the receivers. The kid Johnson finally learned how to catch the ball. Got running backs. The offense, but the offensive line always gets hurt during the season. So miss me with that. Everybody's offensive line winds up being banged up.
But Alt is really good. He's really good.
Yeah, Alt is very good, actually.
Yeah, but you have to be able to overcome that. And if nothing else, pull the ball down and run it. I don't care. So he ain't got no excuses. But bro, the last team, this hiring cycle is crazy because Kelvin Shepard should already been hired. Kelvin Shepard should already been hired. Anthony Weaver should already been hired. So it's interesting to see who else is getting hired because you got Matt Nagy out here getting second interviews.
Yeah. I mean, Weaver's going to get a DC job somewhere. I hope it. I mean, really, to be honest, I hope it's in New York. I really do.
Yeah.
But
I think
yeah.
Oh, that would be a power move by Harbaugh. That'd be a
I
power.
would love that. I would love that. So, but I mean, honestly, to your point, like Herbert has the talent, and Herbert has all the tools, and coming out of college, you didn't know what you were going to get from him, and he all of a sudden he comes into the NFL. It's like, oh my god, this guy's got a
He
rocket
throws
arm.
the
He could
ball
do.
so well. He throws the ball so well. He has a
Mhm.
great deep ball.
Yeah,
He's this. He's Josh Allen in Los Angeles.
yeah.
Right.
He was a question mark coming out of Oregon. We didn't
Yeah, he
know.
was.
So
Because-
I mean,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
it's no, you're good. I mean, he was a big question mark. So I think now it's like, all right, are you really that good? Are you the guy that we thought you were coming out of Oregon? But like,
That's
we don't
the
know.
question. Because right now I'm seeing a guy at Oregon who, in the biggest of games, plays real small. Plays real small.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I mean, I think still, I think the Bills job is probably the most intriguing job right now.
Yeah.
I thought it would be Cleveland. I thought it would probably be Baltimore. Now it's definitely the Buffalo job. But there's a lot of expectations coming into that Buffalo job.
Yes.
So, choose wisely.
Yeah.
I just want I am a Bills hater, right? I make no bones about that. But here's the deal: like Josh Allen and that offense has not been put in the best position because they can't draft a receiver,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Or trade for one, or
trade for a good one. Like and the one you had was disgruntled, and you run him out of town, and he's playing on Sunday now.
Yep.
You know, in the AFC Championship game, like the stuff that Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen was able to do, spectacular. Yeah, unfortunately they ran into the Patriots, but still, like the one receiver you had was disgruntled.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Before we break down these games, Zach Charbonnet suffered a knee injury. It looks like an ACL. He's not going to be able to play the rest of the year. Kansas City Chiefs have brought back Eric Bieniemy for the offensive coordinator job, which I thought is hilarious.
Did they interview him, or is he here?
No, he's already signed, bro. It wasn't an interview. Eric, you want to come back? Yeah, okay.
He's back.
Yeah, okay.
The Detroit Lions are finalizing a deal to bring Drew Pensing back as their offensive coordinator.
Well, not back. They're bringing him in.
They're bringing him in, but I like that hire. I like that. That offense was a mess.
Let's see. That's pretty much.
Bo Nix was the big injury too.
Bo Nix is gone. He hurt himself out.
Let me say this about Buffalo real quick.
Yeah.
If you're an experienced coach, do you even want to go? First of all, Buffalo's unique in many ways. The fan base is unique. That fan base will support you. If you're a serial killer, they'll support you. That's why Keon Coleman turned into a clown, because no matter what, the people patting him, don't worry about Keon, we love you, right? Whereas in other cities, they'd already tore that young man a new one.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a general manager who knifed the head coach out the door and then promoted himself. Bro, if you are an experienced coach, do you want any part of that Buffalo franchise?
Not really.
I kind of do.
Why? Because they have Josh Allen?
Yeah, because what other team could say that they have Josh Allen other than the Ravens have Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, but you also got a general manager who can't draft to save his life.
That part.
And they're gonna blame you for not winning. Because see, this dude is Teflon. Every failure he's passed on to the coach.
But how do you sell the fan base on a upstart coach that's never been there? I mean, you're floating around Brian Daboll. And I mean, I kind of like Joe Brady, but is Joe Brady ready for that?
I like Brian Daboll going back to Buffalo, actually.
I don't.
I do, but I don't. I do, but I don't.
It makes sense, but is Brian Daboll going to get them any further with a limited roster? No.
But Brian Daboll worked magics with Josh Allen, and he has had coaching experience.
Okay,
now, is it a great experience?
No. What about the defense consistently failing? See, we still back to the fact that the general manager is giving you a flawed roster. You need a coach that can overcome not just a flawed roster, but the GM.
That's why I don't like the names that are being floated out there. I do like Joe Brady, but it's so funny they wanted to shove Bill Belichick down your throat.
Bill
Is
ain't
that
going there.
such a terrible move?
Nah, Bill
Not really.
Belichick ain't leaving North Carolina right now.
Bill ain't going there, bro. With that clown. Yeah, Bill ain't working with him.
No, well, really, the problem is that I don't think his girlfriend will appreciate going to a cold weather state like that.
Yeah,
Bro,
see,
bro,
I mean,
listen. He was dating that girl while he was coaching the Patriots, and nobody had a problem with it until he got to North Carolina.
There's New England, and then there's Buffalo.
Okay. I understand it. What I'm saying though is nobody mentioned that he was dating a 20-something until he was in his position where they could punch down. You understand what I'm saying? If he go to Buffalo, listen, them Buffalo fans will wrap their arms around Bill, and you ain't gonna hear nothing else about her. Let somebody say something about Bill's Mafia coming for you, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Spinning around real quick, we got to talk about these games, man. We had 2 games this weekend going to overtime, and the other 2 games were subsequent blowouts, ironically. The Buffalo Bills fell to the Denver Broncos. Saturday night, we had Seattle beat the brakes off of San Fran. Sunday, we had Houston fall to the New England Patriots, and then Sunday night, we had the LA Rams and a thriller beat the Chicago Bears, man. Villain, take it where you want to take it, man. Division round, these 4 games showed up and showed out, man. What's your head at?
Yeah, I mean, 2 games were blowouts. I felt bad for the 49ers and 49er fans. I mean, it was a carpet ride, but Seattle pulled that carpet up from them
quickly,
real fast. Like,
opening kickoff was a wrap.
Yeah, they didn't let them into the building. Basically, They said you can stand outside. We'll be finished in a minute. You know what I mean? And I felt bad for them, but Seattle looked that really good. They really looked good at all facets of the game. The Patriots can't keep getting away with this. You know, like they keep getting handed this stuff, man. Like CJ Stroud just pooped away the game. I mean, 4 turnovers. The defense did all they could to keep him in that game. And I'm still not impressed. I'm just not impressed with the Patriots. I'm not. You know what I mean? Like, they are a solid team. I'm just not impressed. But they're going to get to the Super Bowl because Denver,
quarterback.
Great game, but they don't have a quarterback. And it's not like you're bringing in Jeff Hostetler to back up Phil Simms. So we're talking about Jason Stidham. You know what I mean? You don't have Steve Young behind Joe Montana. You got Jason Stidham. Come on, like, what are we talking about here? But 5 turnovers. 5 turnovers. You can't win a playoff game, especially on the road, with 5 turnovers. So I don't give a damn what anybody says about the defense, people, pass interference and the referee stealing that game. You should not have been in that position to have to leave it up to referees or leave it up to your defense. 5 turnovers, 4 of them by your MVP quarterback.
You
don't win games like that. Sorry. So that's all I gotta say.
So, I mean, looking at it, bro, and then CK, I'll come to you real quick, and then we can possibly get out of here, man. I felt as though that LA Rams Chicago game was the best one of the slate, man. I felt as though both teams really played this exceptionally well. I'm impressed with what Ben Johnson was able to do in year 1.
Absolutely. I was impressed with Ben Johnson. I was impressed that the defense the last 2 games really played better than I give him credit for.
Yeah.
And Caleb Williams, I don't know if he's arrived yet, but he's definitely put the league on notice that I'm coming. And I was really impressed with what he did too. So really poised under pressure. That crazy throw to that touchdown pass to tie the game was, out of control.
You don't complete that 99% of the time.
Yeah, he made a lot of
that's the ball that doesn't get completed. But the one time that it does,
the receivers look good. The running back Swift look good. Caleb, they built the pieces on offense around him. Now it's the defense you got to fix up, and I think the Bears they just got to keep progressing. But I was impressed.
Well, I mean, we say this all the time here. Coaching matters. You know what I'm saying? Coaching really matters, and the Chicago Bears didn't go out and make some drastic, off the wall wholesale changes. They got Ben Johnson to come in there. Antoine Delo came in there. Bieniemy was in there. You know what I'm saying? And so they tweaked it and boom, found themselves in the division round going toe to toe with the odds on favorite to come out of the NFC. a couple weeks ago now. That's hasn't shifted, but still, I mean, you go toe to toe with the LA Rams, and battle them to overtime. So I was impressed with that. I was frustrated watching, the Rams offense. I don't understand why Matt Stafford forgot he had Devontae Adams until, fourth quarter time, but they managed to get it done. You say you're not a fan of New England. It's death by 1,000 paper cuts. It really is. Drake May didn't set the world on fire. We got to this discussion a couple weeks ago about MVP and this, that, and the third. I don't think Drake May did anything in this particular game to kind of proverbially blow my skirt up about him potentially being the MVP. He just managed the ball game, turned the ball over too many times, almost cost him. And then if Houston didn't, say, watch me hold my beer and turn the ball over, themselves, I think there was like 8-9 turnovers in this game between both teams combined.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? So, wasn't really impressed there. We spoke about San Fran, Seattle, and I'm not going to really jump on this Denver Buffalo thing, other than the fact that we have to stop moving the goalposts for Josh Allen. Mm-hmm. We have to stop moving the goalposts. If we're going to sit there and give the other quarterbacks in this league, take them to tags for coming up short in big moments, Josh Allen has yet to climb the mountain, and yet it's everybody else's fault. But I do appreciate the fact that he went to the podium and took his medicine and said it was my fault, because it was indeed his fault.
What else could he say? What else?
He could have pulled an AJ Brown and chose not to talk.
That part.
But
for me, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Serge.
No, you go, homie. Go. Who's name?
I was going to say, for me, I was impressed with Ben Johnson right up until he decided to stop running the damn ball in the playoffs. Right up until he decided to try to prove how smart he was. The only reason I respect Sean McVay, I don't respect most of these legacies that are in the NFL, especially coaching, because they forget that they were born on third base and they act like they hit a triple. Sean McVay doesn't do that. He understands that he got to do what he's doing because of his last name. Period. End of story. He understands that. And he stood up at that podium and said, I did a terrible job. I put my team in bad positions, but they overcame not just the other team, they overcame me. He stood there and said that. That's what I wanted to hear from Ben Johnson. I didn't hear it. I wanted to hear that from D'Amico Ryans. I didn't hear it. There were so many games throughout these playoffs that have been lost by coaches who decided that they wanted to be smarter than everybody else. Chicago Bears got to the playoffs by running the ball. They got in the playoffs and stopped running the ball. If they had run the damn ball on that pass play, I understand that it was a good play call, but it wasn't necessary. All you needed was 15 yards. That was 3 run plays, because they were averaging 4.8 yards a run. 4, 8, 12. Kick the damn field goal. Actually, 4.8 is 5. So 5, 10, 15. That's all you needed. But you call a 7-step drop in the cold, in the wind, because you go, I'm Ben Johnson. Okay, bro. How'd that work out for you? At the end of the day, outside of the San Francisco game, you had games lost because of coaching. D'Amico Ryans should have pulled C.J. Stroud at halftime. Should have pulled him. Not just for C.J. Stroud's benefit, but because how many opportunities are you going to get to a Super Bowl with a terrible offense in this age of the NFL and an amazing defense? It ain't going to happen that often, bro. This was a special year, and the coach blew it. And then stood at the podium and said, but I love him, and I care about the man. Nobody wants to hear that, bro. I want to hear you say, I screwed up. That's what I want to hear you say, D'Amico Ryans. But it is what it is. The games were good, but you guys know me. I look at coaching decisions a lot more than I look at play, because the majority of these games were lost because of coaching decisions. Yeah, C.J. Stroud was god-awful. Why was he allowed to play in the second half? and you still only lost by a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. Think about that.
Hmm?
As bad as CJ Stroud was, you lost by a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. All you had to do was put in Davis Mills, bro.
Yeah, that's what you gotta take him out and live to fight another day. You didn't do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, Montana or Young, they got benched at certain points. You know what I mean? For the other one, it was, we got to win this game or we got to do what we got to do. So, why Mills, I don't know if Mills would have been the savior, but he would have turned the ball over like CJ Stroud and you would have been in the game. So that's all you can ask for in the playoffs.
Exactly.
Ask for forgiveness, don't ask for permission.
I mean, the object is to advance. You get out of that game, you go into the meeting room, practice field. All right, TJ, come on, bro. We'll trot you back out there next week. Let's try again. But
or maybe we don't trot you out there next week.
Maybe we don't trot you back out there. You know what I'm saying?
Ask for forgiveness. You're my quarterback next year. This year, I'm trying to win. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, let me get you guys out of here, man. Thanks for coming by, kicking with us, man. CK, you know what to do, man. Shut us down.
A lot of fun tonight, fellas. I need New York Rangers to fire Chris Drury right the hell now. I'm not even a minute into the game. The Rangers are already losing. I don't nobody care about hockey. I care about hockey, goddammit.
I know, but damn, Chris Drury, you can't fire Chris. He's a Ranger.
No, he's not. Actually, he's a Sabre. Actually, he's a Buffalo Sabre.
I'm not doing that with you tonight.
Okay? Because that's where he started. All right? Miss me with, Chris Drury's a Buff. He was only with the Rangers for 3 years. I need him fired. I need him fired into the sun.
Here it
is. The sun swallowed up by a black hole.
I'm not doing that.
And then I need that universe to explode. But other than that, man, it was a lot of fun tonight, man. Appreciate y'all.
It's only 1-0, bro.
Bro, we're not even 2 minutes into the game. We're 2 minutes into the game.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. You be all right?
Bro, I can't. They get ready to trade out the team because they retool it, man. Listen.
We're going to wake up tomorrow to 40-some odd messages for him talking about these stupid Rangers and Kings.
Let me say this one last thing about the Rangers. This is the second time as I've been watching the Rangers over 50-plus years where we went to do a coaching change. We let an assistant coach leave to go coach the Pittsburgh Penguins. That coach is with the Penguins doing a great job, and the guy we hired sucks. Just saying. And with that, y'all have a good night.
All right, big dog. Appreciate you, man. Villain, you know what to do, man. Get us out of here.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it coming through. We gonna pray for the Rangers. Listen, I'm not a Ranger fan until hockey playoffs start. So if they don't make the playoffs, hockey season was canceled. But that's how I roll. That's how I roll. But shout out to everybody. Brian, shout out to Steve, shout out to LG. We held it down for you. We're on all our socials. We're on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We got a Twitch account. We're gonna figure that out too. I know we talked about we're gonna figure it out one day, but we're everywhere. You can find us at anywhere, and we got big things planned, so stick with us.
Appreciate you, big dog, man. Yo, it's your boy Sirius repping that 412 and the 703, man. Such a privilege and pleasure doing this show with these gentlemen on tonight. Tomorrow, man, we are back in the building, backstage business, talking about everything around the world of WWE. My man Villain is going to be hosting. I will be out handling some business, so shout out to them for holding it down, man. Special shout out to my friends over at Nonsense and Deep Thoughts Podcast, the homie AB, Corey, and all those guys, Justin and all those guys, man, they doing big things, man. Shout out to my homie Trey for the Playbook podcast. Looking forward to partnering with him and doing some different things, man. I always close up my shows like this, man. God is good, even though sometimes people are not, man. God bless you guys. Catch you guys on the next one. Peace.